Hello and welcome back to the unit tutorial for Science Year 5, Unit 3 Materials, and this is video part 2. This video will walk you through the following areas: how to adapt activities and lessons, and key moments within the unit to look out for. Adapting activities can be easily done by using the ebook workbook and the snipping tool to paste the activity onto a Word or Publisher document and edit it. From there, you can print it and stick the adapted activity into your exercise book or directly over the workbook original activity. You may be familiar with the snip tool, but it can be found by searching in the search bar or simultaneously pressing Windows, Shift and S. Drag your mouse to highlight the area you want to copy, and that selection of your screen can be copied onto your clipboard and then onto your Word or Publisher document. Now I'm going to talk you through how you can adapt activities in the pupil workbook. We don't have time to go through every activity in this unit, so I've selected one or two from each lesson. The adaptations we look at here are suggestions, and you should use what works best for your pupils, but hopefully this is a useful starting point for you and will start a bank of adaptation ideas. In this activity, pupils are asked to answer 2 questions and then complete the table. Support pupils by giving them multiple choice options for answers, by giving pupils a word bank of correct and incorrect keywords to sort through, and adding the objects to the table in advance. Stretch pupils by asking them challenging questions like, why do we need to create synthetic materials? In Lesson 2, pupils undertake an investigation to find out which material will be the best choice for a teapot. Support pupils by creating printout resources with the aim, equipment, method and variables written up for pupils to read through, sort and stick into their books. You could give pupils sentence starters or word banks. And stretch pupils by asking them how you are keeping the investigation fair. In Lesson 3, pupils need to complete the table by using a magnet to investigate materials around them and answer 2 right questions. Support pupils by adding object suggestions into the table, and for more support, you could add accompanying images. You could add multiple choice options for answers and give pupils sentence starters. Stretch pupils by asking them why magnets are useful and what else they can be used for. In Lesson 4, pupils need to read a text and answer some questions based on that text. Then they need to undertake an investigation answering the question, which materials are soluble? Support pupils by highlighting the key information in the text, by giving pupils the definitions to match the keyword, by highlighting the key information in the diagram to support understanding of the question, and stretch pupils by asking them which material dissolved in water the quickest and why they think this could be. In Lesson 5, pupils need to record their results from an investigation and draw a bar chart. Support pupils by adding the solutes to the results table in advance, by adding the solutes and the scales to the bar chart, by offering multiple choice options for the conclusion and the evaluation. Stretch pupils by asking them how you are keeping the investigation fair. In Lesson 6, pupils read a text, answer questions and undertake an investigation. Support them by highlighting keywords and phrases in the text, by printing out that text and enlarging it for even more support, by adding the method in advance, by giving a word bank of labels to the drawing with a diagram already added, and by giving a sentence starter. Stretch pupils by asking them if the filtration process would work with salt. Pupils should explain their answer. In Lesson 7, pupils undertake an investigation answering the question, how can you separate this mixture into its parts? Support pupils by printing some steps to sort and stick in. You could also print corresponding images for pupils to sort and stick in. For further support, add step 1 to the workbook in advance and/or the images on the left. And stretch pupils by asking them if the process would work if salt had already been dissolved into the solvent. Why or why not? Lesson 8 includes another investigation, where you can support pupils by adding the mixtures to the left-hand column in advance. You could also give multiple choice options for the middle columns for pupils to tick. And you can stretch pupils by asking them what they would have changed if they did the investigation again and why. In Lesson 9, pupils need to answer a retrieval question and then undertake an investigation to answer the question, what happens when bicarbonate of soda is added to vinegar? Support pupils by offering multiple choice options as answers, by adding the method in advance, by adding the diagram and a word bank of keywords, and stretch pupils by asking the question, how might you have improved your investigation and why? In the final lesson of this unit, pupils undertake an investigation. They need to complete the table about the 6 different practical experiments they've studied so far. Support them by adding the methods in advance to the table. You could create printed text for the why column for pupils to sort and stick in. And stretch pupils by asking questions like, which method of separation do you think is the trickiest and why? Besides reading through the unit resources before you begin teaching, for every unit there are elements that need to be planned in advance. You could plan an engaging hook, look at a model, create some art, or watch a video, print off any additional resources per lesson, and gather resources for specific lessons by using the unit planning guide. Hopefully you now feel confident about accessing and teaching this unit. Any questions, please send to primarymastery@curriculumplus.org.uk, and we welcome all feedback to ensure that these resources are as supportive as possible for you and your pupils.